What is going on, guys? Most of y'all, I'm thinking I'm doing a commentary again. It's been a little while, but for now it's gonna be a commentary mainly because I reached 2,000 subs, which is what my yearly goal was to try and reach, and it was something that I reached like a few days ago or something like that. So I thought I wanted to make a commentary and talk about the plans that I now had moving forward for this upcoming time, and basically make some quick channel updates, I guess I could say. So the first thing is obviously that I want to say thank you to you viewers who have supported me, newcomers, and those of you who have stayed and all that sort of stuff, who keeps checking back on my videos and even leaves likes or even dislikes, comments, whatever. Just basically in general, the fact that you click into my vid to begin with, that is something I really appreciate. I don't really think much about the other stuff, to be honest, besides that. So I want to say thank you for the support, and to celebrate it this time around, I didn't really feel like a Killzone week would be the proper thing to do, mainly because Killzone 2 and 3's multiplayer service has been shut down since I now made that YouTube goal, and thought about maybe doing a Killzone week when I would reach it or something like that, because I believe I did say it in that video. I could be wrong here, but I kinda had it in mind at least back at the day, so it will not happen at this point in time because I will not be playing Shadowfall that much at this point either, mainly since that game has become a little bit boring in some ways. I don't really have much stuff to do anymore in the game because obviously I can only upgrade my abilities, and I don't really enjoy upgrading the turret and all that sort of stuff. So it's gonna be a hard time to actually keep up with a Killzone week if I don't really enjoy it that much. So instead I thought, what could be the plan B then? And I worked on gunsings for a little while here and there and gathered slowly with time more and more to make a compilation too. And it wasn't until I think like a week or two ago, before I would reach the 2,000 subs, that I would really consider doing it and maybe just upload that as a special video, because it's not always that I upload gunsings for you viewers, and it is still sort of new to me because I haven't really mastered it in any way possible. I still am a rookie at it, to be honest, so still a lot of things to improve on, but I wanted to upload the compilation too as the special for reaching this 2k subscriber goal that I now had set for myself. So I guess it fits well with the number 2 there, but obviously I also need to make some quick mentions here and there for these different things in that compilation, because I've also had mistakes on the way, and for this time around hopefully I managed to balance out the volume a little bit more so that it is more consistent this time compared to the first one. I didn't really think much about it. This time around I tried to focus a little bit more on keeping it consistent. I tried my best, but it is also really hard given that I sort of liked that music in the past in some way or another. But I will admit that specifically a Battlefield 4 sync, the gunshots are a little bit loud with that particular sync, and I only had one Battlefield 4 sync, so it should be easy to notice which one it is. Basically the gunshot sounds were a little bit too loud compared to the music that I used, and I didn't really expect that after the editing process back then. I didn't really think that anything was wrong with it, so I just thought it was done. After having rewatched it now recently, because I need to figure out the order and all that sort of stuff, I noticed that it is actually really quite loud and I can't really change it at this point, but I wanted to point that out for you viewers at least. And also there is one shot that is firing a little bit too fast compared to the song, I believe. Sometimes it actually feels like that when I listen to it, while other times it just feels normal. So I don't know if it's just because I've listened to it a little bit too much, or if there's something wrong with the sync itself. I don't know, but there is in particular one M416 shot that I feel like is a little bit too fast, and that is pretty much the Battlefield 4 sync with the mistakes there. Then there's also with Black Ops 3. I've done some syncs here and there with that, and this time around I did focus more on the muzzle flash, where I split the individual shots through that instead of looking at the ammo count and splitting it with that, because I've noticed with Black Ops 3 in particular that the frame rate isn't really a stable 60 FPS or something like that, I guess. So I guess this is why it happens, but I've noticed that when I split through looking at the ammo count when one shot is fired, the game hasn't really registered it till around 2 to 3 frames later or something like that, which is kind of making it a little bit hard to adjust. So with the Black Ops 3 syncs in particular, I decided to go with the muzzle flash instead and split it through looking at the muzzle flash whenever they pop up on screen, when looking at it frame by frame, when I now edited each and every one of those Black Ops 3 syncs. So that is also something I wanted to point out. Then there's also, in general, with these syncs, a lot of triple kills or 3-man kills or whatever, because I cannot for some reason get a 4th guy, either because he's not around or I choke it. So most of these things are actually triples, and that is something I feel like should be pointed out, but I don't know if it really matters too much. I just wanted to mention it quickly for you viewers. And then next up is also the clips themselves. Are all something that hasn't been seen besides one, and that is a Modern Warfare Remastered AK-74U 4-man clip. And I believe I used it in a recent gameplay with Modern Warfare Remastered, given that I haven't really uploaded a whole lot with that game yet recently, so it shouldn't be that old, but the rest of it is and should be all new and not seen before in the gameplays that I've uploaded in the past. And then there's also Call of Duty Infinite Warfare syncs, where I had in particular one clip with the RVN, which is the 2-round burst assault rifle that you can now hold triangle or Y if it's a Xbox controller, and basically split up into a defibrillator thing as a melee weapon. Basically that clip that I had used as well is something that I could not get a original gunshot from because it's a burst weapon, so I had to get a little bit creative and actually create my own sound with that, and I didn't really know what to do to make it sound similar to the RVN when you shoot with a silencer. So I had some thoughts and experimental things here and there with different Infinite Warfare assault rifle sounds with the energy weapons suppressed. Firing those, maybe one of them will sound similar. I couldn't really find one that actually fitted somewhat well, and then I started to think about maybe use some from the past Call of Duty games, because I do have a sound pack from Modern Warfare 3. Then I also had some really old sounds from Modern Warfare 2 that I had recorded back then when I really wanted to try and make a sync, but I just couldn't because I didn't know how to do it. But basically I had a AK-47 silent sound from Modern Warfare 2 that I had now recorded back then, and I used to combine with a Modern Warfare 3 M4A1 silenced sound, which sorta gives a solid sound, I guess, to use for the sync. I didn't really feel like it would sound like the RVN anyway. Then I considered maybe putting in the Volk with a silence shot there as well, combining all three of them into one. But I wasn't really sure if it would fit well, having to edit with 3 different gunshots, having to line them up and all that sort of stuff. It would take some time, and also figuring out when exactly they should stop, because the sounds from those 3 different gunshots are a little bit different. The AK-47 from Modern Warfare 2 was quite short, while the Modern Warfare 3 one was a little bit longer, whereas the Volk, it was somewhat longer than both, so I didn't really feel like it should be used, which is why I decided to just go with Modern Warfare 2 and 3's M4A1 silenced and AK-47 silenced gunshot, and combine that to the RVN sync. And I think that should be pretty much it actually. I tried my best to use no copyright sounds this time, not much hardstyle. I did use some quickly from no copyright sounds as well, because they have uploaded a little bit. I think I used one song in particular only, but besides that there shouldn't be much this time. Mainly no copyright songs, and yeah, that should be pretty much it with the Gunsync compilation too. Moving on to the next thing is also something that I've considered for a little while now, which is like a few weeks time or something like that, or maybe a month or 2. It really depends, because I've considered it and then I feel like it's not worth it, and then with time again I thought about it again. But basically it's actually doing walkthroughs or playthroughs on my channel. I played SOCOM 4 around June with the campaign story, and I played through the campaign and recorded it all just in case. I would now use it on the Vapes or even on my own channel someday. So I just recorded it, and now I've recently, after having reached 2,000 subscribers and everything, I really thought about maybe starting up doing walkthroughs again in some way or another, and that is something that I haven't done in a while, because I have uploaded that on the Vapes here and there, and then we have to go back a few years from now if we can see some sort of hints towards me doing walkthroughs on this channel, which is with proper campaigns at least. I've done some quick co-op missions here and there that I've uploaded already with Battlefield 3 as example, or Spec Ops The Line, but recently, as I've also been having some trouble getting some non-Call of Duty gameplays here and there, I thought about maybe doing walkthroughs instead of playthroughs, where I can upload that instead, maybe focus on a single player story campaign of some sort. What I thought about this, if I want to go through with this whole thing with playthroughs, is that I want to have mainly linear story campaigns uploaded. I don't want to record open world games, mainly because there is a lot of side stuff you gotta do as well, and also some games require some grind to it, like for example Horizon Zero Dawn. That is a game that I really enjoyed but could not finish the story in because it was kinda long of a game to do. You would have to put a lot of hours into it if you really wanted to play through the story, get through all these different side quests you now can do in the game, explore the world and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of things that you can do in that game, and that is, for example, something that I don't really have the time to do. So I thought about it, and maybe I should start off with this SOCOM 4 because it was a linear story experience, and it was something that I recently tried out and tried to get into because I've never really tried any SOCOM games in the past. I heard that SOCOM 2 or something like that was the best one though, and this one was one of the worst, but since I haven't really tried any of the past SOCOM games, I thought this SOCOM 4 was pretty solid. It didn't really have an amazing story campaign or anything like that, but it was still a fun, solid game. I fairly enjoyed myself more than I would have expected from it, and it does also sort of remind me of Spec Ops: The Line in terms of how the controls feels, with the controls being a little bit stiff, which I don't really like, but it kind of reminded me of Spec Ops: The Line because of that, so it wasn't too bad. I did enjoy Spec Ops: The Line despite it having a little bit of a stiff control going, so a great game. SOCOM 4 as well. I didn't play that well through the stories in some certain areas with the missions, but I've considered uploading that as a little tester for doing maybe playthroughs or walkthroughs here on this channel, and maybe someday I'll upload it soon. We'll see, but that is something that I've thought about. And then also The Walking Dead, because the final season has arrived with the first episode, and I've considered to upload maybe season 1, 2 and 3, or A New Frontier as it's called, the third one I believe. And then there's also Michonne and 400 Day or something like that I believe as well. I don't know if that is included in that The Walking Dead collection that I now got when I pre-ordered The Walking Dead the final season, but we'll see for now. I'm not really too sure if I should go through with it. I've already uploaded the demo with the final season as well. Felt kinda nice to have a little change there, so maybe I'll do that with walkthroughs and playthroughs in general moving forward, but for now I've considered it. I'll think about it and then we'll see from there, I guess. SOCOM 4 will be the tester, that's it. And then we move on to the last thing, which is that I also quickly did take some screenshots of different comments congratulating me for reaching 2,000 subs, and I thought I would, for this time, shout out you viewers quickly. I forgot to write down the names though, so I can't really shout out it in a good manner, but I'll put it up on screen right now. And again, just say thanks to all of you viewers in general for the support. Those of you that clicks into my videos and all that sort of stuff, it means a lot. And yeah, that should be pretty much all I really want to say for now. So thank you so much for watching if you did stick around for this long, and hopefully I will see you on the next one.